Welcome to Part 4 of the Applied Studies Overview. In this section, we will review ways to utilize the curriculum map in planning as well as how to report student performance on selected skills. As mentioned previously in this presentation, the curriculum map is intended to guide teams in the development of individualized education programs for students with disabilities. The content of the curriculum map is not intended to be standards, nor is every student required to master each skill. The purpose is to assist teams in aligning instruction with post-secondary goals. In this section, we will explore options for planning and utilizing the curriculum map. An assessment of student skills is necessary to develop appropriate annual goals. The development of IEP goals should align with the transition goals set forth in the IEP. Work backwards from the goals that the student has for post-secondary life to develop transition goals. The transition goals are then used to develop annual IEP goals. By working backwards, the team can develop a plan for teaching skills or a course of study that will align skills to be taught with appropriate activities while the student is in high school. By engaging the student in planning for these post-secondary goals and identifying skills to address each year, teams can increase engagement and self-determination from the student. A supplemental document aligns the competencies with the curriculum map with the Virginia Standards of Learning. This resource will allow IEP teams to make decisions that will help align the student's goals with a course that will cover similar material. It will provide a resource for teachers who teach SOL-driven courses to plan instruction and activities that address the skills and competencies outlined in the curriculum map. The skills that are outlined in the curriculum map may require specialized instruction for students with disabilities, but will benefit any student that receives instruction related to the skill. When assessing student skills, there are several popular and effective modalities. A behavioral observation is simply observing the student's behavior in a real setting. It is helpful to have specific behaviors of interest to observe to narrow the focus of the observation. For instance, on a community-based instruction trip, the instructor may observe to see how the student behaves while waiting in line for lunch. Specific behaviors that the teacher may plan to observe may include waiting appropriately by staying in line or maintaining personal space. The instructor should make note not only of the student's behavior, but of the conditions surrounding the student. For example, was the area crowded, loud? Was the student even hungry? What did the ordering process look like? Was this a new restaurant or a familiar one? Many factors may influence a student's success, and it is important, especially for students with a need for more significant supports, to be specific in identifying factors that may contribute to or delay a student's success. A performance sample directly assesses the student's work production. Factors that may be measured include quality, quantity, or speed of work. Situational assessments provide students with the opportunity to sample jobs, which is an opportunity many students with disabilities are not afforded. A variety of job types should be explored, and the student's reaction to each recorded to compare which may or may not be her most preferred job type. Students performing real work in multiple work environments can also provide school personnel information about the student's work characteristics, interests, skills, abilities, learning style, and workplace support needs. As we mentioned earlier, one of the reasons for creating the curriculum map is to help teams across the state work from the same resource. In addition to that, and to help improve communication between parties, a standard reporting system will be used. For students that have goals in their IEPs that are based on the skills and competencies within the curriculum map, reporting on these goals must be completed in accordance with the requirements of the student's IEPs. This reporting system will allow teachers to report on skills and experiences that may or may not be part of the student's IEP. Several factors influence the development of the scoring methodology. One of these factors is to ensure that the reporting was easy to use and understandable by all stakeholders. Additionally, we wanted to make sure the information being reported is accurate and that as a student transitions from teacher to teacher, from school to school, or between divisions, that everyone has the same information. The first component of reporting is performance accuracy. Performance accuracy addresses several factors, including the student's knowledge of the content or skills, how well they are able to utilize the skill and under what conditions, the student's ability to utilize the skill in new or novel situations, and the number or type of errors made when demonstrating the skill. There are 4 options available for scoring students' performance accuracy. These categories are consistently, usually, sometimes, and not yet. Students that consistently demonstrate a skill are able to demonstrate understanding and skill proficiently nearly all of the time and across multiple people, settings, and opportunities. The student will make no major errors or omissions. This means that if the student misses a step or makes a mistake, they are able to correct it independently or the mistake does not have an impact on their final product or performance. Students that usually demonstrate a skill show a general understanding of this content or skill. These students demonstrate skills most of the time, but may not generalize across environments. The student may make one or more major errors that affect their final product or performance. Students that sometimes demonstrate a skill have partial understanding of the skill or demonstrate some of the skill proficiently, but not enough to consider that student able to complete the skill independently. The student who is not yet able to demonstrate the skill is unable to complete most of the component parts or activities of that skill. Another important piece of information that is reported is the level of support that a student requires to demonstrate these skills. It is understood that many students require additional supports for a variety of reasons. It is important to understand and report on what these supports look like to help facilitate the transition between teachers and settings. For example, by accurately reporting about the supports that a student has utilized while in school to learn new skills, a job coach or voc rehab counselor can pick up with similar supports. Additionally, the level of support is critical in IEP planning. The IEP team will need to consider the level of support needed and determine how much time to devote to teaching of new skills and how much time will be devoted to fading supports for existing skills. A vast majority of students will work toward both goals simultaneously. However, for some students, both learning new skills and fading supports will require higher levels of specialized instruction. For students that require additional support to complete tasks, statements should be added to the report that describes these supports, especially when the student will transfer to a new school, teacher, or division in the next year. The level of support required is categorized into 3 levels. These levels are independent, some support, and full support. For a student to be considered independent with a skill, they may use supports that assist them with the completion of a task. However, the student must be able to recognize the need for, initiate the use of, and independently utilize the support to accomplish the task. Students that require some support require external assistance to complete some or portions of a skill or task. These students may require support to access any accommodations that may be necessary. Students that require full support will not be able to complete the critical components of a particular skill without external support. Increasing independence is a critical focus when providing instruction to students on skills outlined in the curriculum map. The goal is to provide instruction to students that will allow them to develop the highest level of independence possible. Through ongoing assessment, the teacher or instructor must always evaluate the environment in which the student is able to perform. Part of assessing the environment is providing accurate information about what the adults and supervisors are doing. This includes the use of subtle reminders, proximity to the student, verbal requests, corrections and praise, and others. If having an authority figure present in the environment is necessary for student success, the IEP team needs to consider instructional practices and supports that reduce dependence on the additional person. In an effort to systematize and standardize reporting on skills that are being addressed, we have created an online form generator to facilitate teachers in reporting student progress. More information can be found by following the link at the top of the Applied Studies webpage by clicking the text Online Form Generator. The form generator allows teachers to choose the skills in which they want to report. Additionally, there is an option to include a text box for comments, which could include descriptions of the authentic experiences in which the student demonstrated the skills. This tool is intended to be a resource to assist teachers in providing additional information that can accompany progress reports or report cards and consolidate information into an easy-to-read report. Additional resources are in development to provide additional guidance to teachers, parents, and students. Please visit the link to the online survey located below this webcast if you are interested in providing feedback regarding the Applied Studies Curriculum Map or this presentation. If you have any questions regarding this presentation or the Applied Studies Curriculum Map, please contact Daniel Irwin at the Virginia Department of Education at daniel.irwin@doe.virginia.gov or by phone at 804-371-7421. Thank you.